Hey guys, morning after the first night of sleeping outside, as I expected. It was brutal. I didn't get much sleep at all. Damn dogs and mules and everything making noises. One of my mules learned how to move gates, and so uh, all morning I've been hearing this like crashing sound, and then when I finally woke up, I raised up and looked over there, and he'd been ramming the gates to scoot it over so that he could reach underneath and eat grass in new areas. And so that was neat. So he had been doing that all morning, and then I guess when that mule started moving around, the dogs were getting anxious to go over there and do something because they knew the sound. They must have known that he's been doing that, and so he's the dog's like really anxious and making this high-pitched whine noise and wanting to go. Two of the dogs did that, and then one of the dogs just kept shaking his head, like how they shake their back to dry off. He just kept doing that, like a nervous twitch all morning. Like he must have done it a million times. But he's got a collar on, so it rings like a bell every time he does it, and it makes this. When you're super tired, the noises that you wake up to become like the most hated noise ever. But anyways, so that was neat, but that's to be expected on the first night. I figured it would be like that, and the more tired I get, the better I'll sleep. I think in future nights I may consider employing earplugs, but first I need to get my fences mule-proofed a little bit better. I've got one of them kind of figured out, but I need to do. I closed a gate so that mule can't get into that spot to tear up those panels, but there's some other ones that he hasn't learned he can move yet, but once he does, that might be a problem. So I gotta be ahead of the game on that. So I want to be able to listen for the next night at least before I resort to earplugs. And then the other thing is all the dogs made a little bit of, on all my dogs I have a bell so that when I go riding, if they pop out of the bushes along the way, because the dogs just kind of go off and do their own thing. They go and then they come back and they just follow along that way. And sometimes they pop out of the bushes, and so I want the mules to be able to hear them ahead of time so that they don't think that it's a mountain lion trying to get them or something and run off or dump me off or something like that. So anyways, I like the mules to know what's coming, so I put a bell on the dogs. Unfortunately, it makes it really annoying when the dogs in the middle of the night, I forgot to take off their collars last night, so they do the thing where they itch their collar, except it's a bell for like a minute straight, just ding 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 ding, just a mind-numbing noise. It's like a form of torture being woken up 100 times in the night. And then so I thought I had my train schedule figured out here in town. I did not. There were at least 5 trains that came through last night, which I don't know why it would be any different. Maybe because it's a weekend? I don't know. I don't remember there ever being that many, unless I was just so tired that I slept through most of them. So that was another aggravating thing. And then it took quite a while to fall asleep because it was so hot. It was just muggy. But this morning it was just awesome. It was nice and cool, and I woke up at about 7:20, if I remember right. When the sun was coming up, birds were coming awake, and it just kind of, it wakes you up nice and slow. And that's the one good thing about sleeping outside, is it's a gentle awake. It's the best way to wake up ever. I can't think of a better way to wake up. Just the sun gradually peeking over the horizon, and then that early morning breeze that comes through, and it's just chilly enough to feel good, like to get your attention, but in a good way. It's awesome. I can't complain on that a bit. So now I'm inside my bathroom getting ready to take a shower and get ready to start the day. I've got to do a 15-mile bike run, and then when I get back from that, I'm going to eat some lunch, ride mules. I'll get done before supper, eat supper, come back here, and start the whole process over again. And maybe I'll get some time in there to work on my fences a little bit. The damn mules. They'll tear up everything you own. Everything. If you let them. Got hair in my eye. So yeah. So I guess I can't complain too much, because that is the best way to wake up. Absolutely best way to wake up. Yeah. And since I woke up at 7:20 or whatever, that's going to make it easier to go to bed tonight. The other nice thing about sleeping outside, it helps get your mind in a primitive mode. It works in some different ways, but your circadian rhythm is greatly affected by light. And so when you sleep indoors, a lot of times you have artificial light sources in your house, including your phone or maybe like a TV screen or something. And in order to fall asleep, you have to go 15 to 20 minutes without any artificial light. So if you can, I mean, that's one thing that causes people to, like, they lay down to bed and then they can't fall asleep. Well, while you're waiting for that 15 to 20 minutes, it seems like an eternity, because you want to sleep, but you don't have anything to gauge the passage of time, so it seems like you've been there forever. And then you get bored, reach over, pick up your phone, or you flip on the TV, and then it delays. It restarts your 15 to 20 minutes. It puts your sleep on hold, because now in your mind the sun is back up when it sees all that light. So that's the nice thing about camping. The light, it gets dark out there, and helps to get you in the sleepy mode. And then also the noises, the crickets, the birds and stuff, they're doing their thing, and if you're lucky, you get a little bit of a breeze at night, and you put all those things together and you can be out like a light in no time. It's great. If it's not so hot that you can feel yourself losing water through sweat. It's just last night it was too hot, but it really wasn't too hot outside. It was too hot inside my sleeping system. My sleeping system is designed more towards the winter side of things, and so I was pretty toasty. The other thing to take into account when trying to fall asleep is food. Your food schedule, your eating schedule affects when you fall asleep big time. You have, assuming you're on a healthy diet, If you're on an unhealthy diet, then it's going to be even more messed up and unpredictable, and but like a diet with high sugars and stuff. But if you eat right before bed, it fires up your metabolism, and it's going to get your body really hot. So while that's good for some winter applications, it's not so good for summer or warmer weather, because your body warms up and then you crawl in the blankets and then you're hot, and it doesn't just shut off because you're tired. You'll stay hot. You'll sit in the bed and just be cooking for a while until your body burns off that stuff you just ate. It gets everything, all the blood pumping in the right places, and you're ready to do work, and then you're laying down to bed. So if you snack before bed, you can kind of mess yourself up that way. I usually drink a little bit of water before I head out there. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. And even in the winter time, I try not to snack, because the other thing is, as far as falling asleep goes, when you snack, it takes a while for you to burn off that heat, but you won't be able to fall asleep during that part unless you fall asleep right after you finish eating, when all your blood rushes to your stomach. Like if you eat a big meal and you can fall asleep right then, you might get it pulled off. But if you eat and then maybe like 10 or 15 minutes later head out and try to go to bed, it's not going to work. So I just try to avoid, eat supper, come home, do all your stuff, and then when you get that craving to eat, that's really your body telling you it's time to sleep. But we misinterpret our signals really easily. So don't snack, just go to bed. That's your body trying to tell you to do the right thing. You start to run out of energy and you get hungry. You're better off to just take a sip of water and then lay down and go to sleep. But hopefully I can get my sleep schedule adjusted to the point where I'm waking up at like 4:30 in the morning. I would love that if I could get back to waking up early in the morning again. It's tough because I try to do it without losing sleep. I try to do it by going to bed early instead of waking up earlier and then I'll start going to bed earlier. I usually try to do it by going to bed earlier and then I'll start waking up earlier. And in that way, I won't be completely exhausted every morning when I wake up, because I've found that if I do it that way, I'm more likely to relapse and like at the end of the week just sleep in and then I'm just set back to zero progress again. So I like to try to adjust it from the front side as opposed to letting my sleep catch up with when I'm waking up. So I like to do it that way. But anyways, I'm going to get cleaned up here and head to work. I'm running out of time, so I just wanted to fill you guys in. So, yep, I'll get back with you this evening.